would assume he'd be treated like a god in Illinois State Prison. The man is a Chicago legend, but one can also wonder, why is it always when someone's about to be released, paperwork comes out of nowhere? We saw the same thing happen with Big Meech, and how everyone, including Meech, thought he'd be welcomed home like royalty, and instead, the former drug lord is doing Instagram promo.
All right, y'all know I do. Always pushing health, wealth, better understanding the self, and giving praises to the Most High. So check this out. 1090J, he just dropped a video on Larry Hoover and how he told on somebody after being shot. Now, if you can kind of read between the lines, and I'm going to show y'all a little clip in this video, that there's always a campaign on any of our leaders in the underworld when they get older, because these guys are probably much smarter and they got their minds groomed in the right way. So with isolation, so what I'm saying, we all know that there's a smear campaign that's done to just bring down the character of a strong leader, a black man that's a strong leader. You don't want to give this guy any light because of the influence that could happen in the communities. Now, that's just my opinion, but I'm sure people can understand this, right? So we gotta understand that 1090 Jake is part of some type of hip hop police influencer group. That we know that influence and news is a currency. So if you got an agenda, you're probably gonna want to promote it and pay influencers to, steer influence this way. And I say that because the timing of the Big Meech when he was released, and now Larry Hoover, we know all of these strategies that they got to remove wealth from the indigenous. Okay, so I feel like this is another tactic of that, because influence and currency is a form of brainwashing. Okay, you can kind of brainwash somebody to believe a lie when you do tactics like this. But also, killing that revolutionary spirit to unite. I think that to keep everybody divided, this is a tactic that you have to. I think it's like a bunch of strategies that they use, and this is just one. It's just the reputation, kill the reputation and the credibility of their leaders. Not only assassinate them, but kill the credibility and the reputation, so that can't spread. They don't want any, that to have babies, and that just, it's another one and another one you deal with. They understand prevention is better than cure, so they are killing it right at the snake of the head. They're not trying to let anything pass down. As you can see with wealth or anything, we don't pass anything down. Now, that's just my opinion. So I think they're trying to be in control. This is the reasons why they do that. But let me play this little clip real quick of 1090. Check it out.
One would assume he'd be treated like a god in Illinois State Prison. The man is a Chicago legend, but one can also wonder, why is it always when someone's about to be released, paperwork comes out of nowhere? We saw the same thing happen with Big Meech, and how everyone, including Meech, thought he'd be welcomed home like royalty, and instead, the former drug lord is doing Instagram promo. But what about the GDs? How are they gonna react to reading the clear black and white of Larry Hoover, the very founder of their beliefs, identifying the two rival gang members who shot him? But what about the GDs? How are they gonna react to reading the clear black and white of Larry Hoover, the very founder of their beliefs, identifying the two rival gang members who shot him?
Now, when he said believing in black and white, this is an article, right? that somebody came out with, a news channel or some kind of journalist. There's a video of the guy who shot Larry Hoover and saying that this article is not the truth on what happened. He said this guy never did tell him. So this is the proof because the man who was actually living actually did the video and said this, that, this wasn't something he was proud of, but this wasn't true. All right. I'm gonna let 1090 Jake go on a little bit, then I'm gonna get more of my commentary.
When he was 18. Does it not count because it was so long ago, or because Hoover became so powerful? Nobody dared talk about his statement without the risk of being killed. As of May 29, 2025, Larry Hoover is no longer in federal custody, and according to the Illinois Department of Corrections, he's been transferred to Dixon Correctional Center, a medium security prison. Hoover's current release date is October 25th, 2066.
So, just to correct 1090 on that, the guy who did shot him said that that article was not accurate to the situation that happened that he was in. But speaking of that article, this is why we can't really, we need our own indigenous media so we can know and hear from somebody that broke down the perspective and broke down how the enemy is trying to give it and give it to us the real way. Because every media outlet puts a spin on their coverage for political agenda reasons. So you got to know that the enemy controls the media. They want to control the perception of us and how we look at each other. So there's no way you can trust a media company. If you trust a media company, to what they say and think that is accurate, they always put, leaders that don't fit the agenda of breaking down the regime. It'll put them in a bad light. But I do think that this is a smear campaign, and it just looks like it. They had plenty of time to, pull this out or have this come out, and that someone is saying that it's not true. It further have me believe that it's an attack on, masculinity in men and trying to put leadership into the environment. So that could be the main objective of our problems. It's great leadership and control of leadership. And it seems like the news and the CIA is trying to control our leadership on how they want us to lead in the community and lead our future generations to come. So definitely, I think it's definitely something that we can learn from Larry Hoover and Big Meech that we can apply in the strategy to, overcome our oppressors, in my opinion. But I want to know what y'all think about this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love.
You are totally dependent on other people to take care of your needs because you don't have those roots sunk into the ground. To have a community, you must have three things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax spaces for your own people. You should at least control four basic things. You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.